of the Lord. So you got to be willing to gird up your loins. You got to be willing to be consistent and pull yourself together. You might want to tell your neighbor next to you, you need to pull yourself together. Yeah. We need all the marbles. Tell them we need all the marbles.
All the marbles.
You can't lose it. We got to keep them all in the bag. We need all your marbles in one bag. Okay? We need the whole loaf. No crumbs. We need, you get what I'm saying? We need every facet of who you are and what God called you to be. And you got to be responsible for it. Amen? So even the Jews and the Romans knew, you know, if they went to battle and went to fight, they had to take their mantle or their tunic or whatever it was and bring it up between their legs to undergird themselves. And that's what you got to do. We're in a fight. You got to pull some things together. You know what I'm saying? So you can be more mobile and flexible with the things of God. So you don't have to be stagnant. I mean, no, God called us to be a river, not a pond in the lake. Well, we're supposed to flow. We should be fluid. Right? Not stagnant. Bible says we're supposed to be steadfast. Unmovable. Always. Not sometimes. When I feel like it. When I get paid. If I get married. Okay. If I get a new address. If I get some, if I get another zero added onto my check. Always. Okay. With a job. Always. Without a job. Always. Okay. Broke. Always. All right. I'm trying to fill it. I'm trying to cover everybody in here. When I'm happy. Always. When I'm unhappy. Always. Amen. I think that's enough. We got to get to that point, y'all. We got, you know, another analogy is you got to prepare yourself for the worst. Yes. And that's what we got. You know, you think about the ant. Ant prepares itself for the worst. They know winter is coming, but they know on the other side of winter is the spring. And so you got to be able to prepare yourself for the worst. And most folks, we don't make the proper preparations. And I told this house a long time ago, the 5 P's. Remember the 5 P's? What is it? Proper. You do the homework. The results have never left up to time and chance. Now, the one thing about the results, they may not come when you want them to, and they may not look like you thought they would, but they're going to come. You know what I'm saying? We got this placebo in our mind that God's going to move a certain way. He's outside the box. He never moves the way we thought. I'm serious. I've been in this thing for almost 30 years. It's not one thing I believe God for that came the way I thought. And how many know once you get in probably about 5 years in, you figure out, okay, I'm just going to forget it. Not most of us now. We got a lot of geniuses in the church. We just figure we're going to one-up God. And eventually it's going to come the way I want it to come. And if it don't come the way we want it to come, then that's when we start negotiating. And then we start allowing other voices to come in. Right? And we get caught up into other stuff. Not churches like this. I'm just talking about other churches that don't know this stuff. They find themselves in a quagmire of frustration, trying to figure out, where is thou? When you leave the results up to Him and you be faithful in what God called you to do in that season, that's what God wants us to get to. And that is what's necessary if we're going to prepare ourselves. So we're going to look at a couple of girds through scriptures. And then we're going to dissect it a little bit more about that word loins. But let's look at gird. Gird. Well, let's go to Exodus 12 and 11. The first time it showed up was during the Passover. Anybody remember the Passover? So when you gird yourself, bring yourself together, pull it all together, right? That's what we're supposed to do. That's why we have wisdom. Wisdom pull it all together. You can have knowledge, you can have information, you can have insight, you can have a big library, you can have a lot of books. With this day and time, a lot of Kindle, electronic devices. You can have a litany amount, an enormous amount of information you can be exposed to. But wisdom is like old maid. Anybody ever play Old Maid? I used to love that game. Yeah, y'all never played that? Am I too old or something? That's pretty good. That's a cognitive building thing. It helps groom your ability to comprehend and stuff, right? Your retention. Okay. So, Exodus 12 and 11. It says, and thus shall you eat it with your loins girded. Talking about the lamb. The lamb for a house. You said you should eat that lamb, right? And I like further in the chapter it says, don't sodden the lamb. Don't water down the message. Right? I mean, we got too many watered down. We got, what, 50,000 denominations of watered down messages. We don't need the message to be watered down. What we need to do with the message is to gird our loins. Amen? Anybody want to be girded? I want to be girded. That's a sign of solidarity. That's a sign of being unified. That's a sign of your commitment being focused. I want to be girded. Amen. I want to be not only am I the apple of his eye, but I want his thoughts towards me to be of peace and not of evil. Because that word peace is shalom. Right? I want the shalom of God to permeate my mind. I don't know about you. And you know, some people say nothing missing, nothing broken, but the rabbinical writing says that what? The presence of all things helpful and that absence of all things harmful. I don't know about you, but I like that deal. Everything that I need is present. Everything that I don't need is absent. But that comes through you learning how to gird up your loins. Learning on some other truths I'm about to share. So they say, gird up the loins, and it says, your shoes on your feet, your staff in your hand, and you should eat in haste. It's the Lord's Passover. So we can talk about all those different things and different characteristics. So we need to gird up our what? Loins. Let's go over here to 2 Kings 4:29. Just a couple of scriptures. Sometimes I do a lot of teaching, talk a little bit in between, but this morning is the reason I want to kind of abbreviate what I originally was going to say, because I want to give you some hardware. Gehazi, this is a story about Gehazi. If you know anything about it, it was the widow of Shulamite. She had a son. Well, she didn't have anything, but she honored the gift that Elijah was. Elijah said, "What can I do for you?" And she said, "I would like to have a baby." He gave her a baby. He said, "This time next year you're gonna have a baby." She ended up having a baby. So the baby grew up. Some say about 13, went out to the field with daddy and working in the field and dropped dead. Had a headache and dropped dead. All that's prophetic. You know, that's what Okay. So he dropped dead, and she sent word to Elijah that that blessing you spoke over my life ain't living no more. Come on, am I right? Moffett paraphrase. That's what anybody ever been there? Okay, oh man, one of y'all. I'm gonna hold this with me, and this for the liars. Okay, this is for me. This is for the liars. But I'm here to tell you, that's what happened. So she went and sent for the source. Boy, this can preach on this one. That's why you need fivefold ministry gifts. Some things can't be raised up or resurrected without somebody on another plane. Come on now, somebody that's spoken to your life. You trying to figure out why you resuscitate, blowing into the. It ain't working. It ain't moving no more. Trying to figure out where the thrill is gone. Yeah, it's gone. The thrill is gone. Yeah, and you need seasoned, mature men and women of God that can prophesy to your dead bones. Sure. But anyway, that's the other part. So she went and got him. So Elijah was like, "Who the heck is this coming?" He said, "That's that woman over there, the Shulamite." This is paraphrasing, right? And so he said, "Hey." She found out. She brought him in the house because that matter of fact, Gehazi, he symbolizes ministries that are thirsty for position. Right? So he kind of misidentified her situation, so she had to get closer to the man of God for him to discern correctly. He had to preach too. But anyway, he sent Gehazi with his staff. He said, "Take my staff, take my authority. You go over there and represent me." Right? So he had to go and lay on top of it.
Yes.
Right? And so that's what we get in 29. It says that, then he said, Gehazi, gird up your loins and take my staff in your hand and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute thee, answer him not again. And lay my staff upon the face of the child. So you find out he did as instructed. The child, he prostrated him, mouth, hand, feet, which is another message within itself. The child regained, was revived. But I like it because he said he girded up his loins and he took his authority. So that's what happens too. We need, if we're going to get to the point of things being restored and resurrected, you may not be able to do it in your own authority.
Amen.
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 I know you're a gunslinger. You know, this ain't the Wild Wild West. Yep. See, that just went over your head. Who watch Westerns? Huh? And you see a guy ride in on his horse. And then the music playing in the background. So you already know he's coming to make a mark. Am I right? That's what he's there for. Everybody, the saloons and everybody trying to figure out who is this. It ain't even a masked man. Who is this person, this new person on my territory?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Most of the church, that's what we do. That's why we got so many ministries. Everybody ready to make a mark. Nobody want to take somebody else's staff.
Amen.
See, I took somebody else's staff.
Amen.
I didn't take this honor for myself. I'm submitted to somebody else. What they got to do with it?
Yeah.
It's a part of girding up the loins of your mind.
Yeah.
To understand, hold on a second. I don't have to be the head honcho.
Right.
There's some great number twos out there. I know the one that saved me.